Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this phenomenal matchup of the National Championship semifinal. Here, La Salette, number 4 seed, versus St. Ignatius, number 1 seed. This is going to be an epic game. I'm Elijah Hall, and I'm here today with Malachi Martin. Malachi, how are you today?
Well, considering that I go to La Salette, there's a little bit of butterflies in my stomach. I'm definitely very excited about the outcome of this game.
Here's the high kick. Salo Cruz will receive it. Oh, he just kind of got hammered there. Tackling in the air, high tackle, and La Salette get a penalty right off the bat. Connor Hanlon looking to kick the touch.
Definitely looks like Ignatius wants to start this game off fast. You know, they're definitely looking for an early domination.
Connor Hanlon, high and mighty, and hits the roof of our joint. Nuclear bomb, Connor Hanlon. He's got a cannon for a leg. He rarely misses the touchline whenever he goes to kick. Titan Esparza throwing for La Salette. Probably one of the best throwers in the history. He allows for a double line out in the back line, too, because he can throw so far. Here's Martin Strobel. Here's the jump, just as I was talking about. Dime. Titans on his game. La Salette down the back line. Here's Henry Dittman. Connor Hanlon. Long pass to Marco. Gerard Niedeber on the wing. That's the biggest, stackest wing you'll ever see. Actually, he's not even playing wing. He's playing hooker.
Yeah, La Salette definitely one of their strengths. Although they're definitely playing at a size disadvantage. They are very fast and they're very, very good at getting the ball out the back. St. Ignatius, we have played them before. I think that was our first game.
First game, yep.
Of the preseason, and it was a closer game than we thought it would be. So I think Ignatius is definitely playing to that. But Ignatius is definitely using their bigger guys. You know, their forwards really crashing in.
Well, La Salette stole it.
First. Yep. La Salette doing a great job with their hands.
Henry Dittman to Connor Hanlon.
Ooh, no look pass.
To Marcel Gerard Niedeber. He'll cut back inside. Marcel Fab with the support. Trying to counter-ruck. Here's Henry Betts taking in contact. Nice tackle from number 6. And quick hands there from St. Ignatius and a beautiful penalty. St. Ignatius is a beautiful penalty. And he's a bit too happy. He throws the ball at his 9 French. But looks like he's okay. Hey, at least he's pumped. Patriotic Force team, you know.
La Salette staying disciplined with a nice flat defensive line. And they'll kick it into touch.
Into touch it goes. And it'll be a line out for St. Ignatius. Now we get to see some. So we saw La Salette line out. Nice far throw in the back. And now we get to see a St. Ignatius line out. Should be a spectacle. Here's the throw. Nice and good. Nice hands there. And they get to a forward pod. McQuillan, he latches on and takes him down, but meters gained there from St. Ignatius.
Looks like it's taking Sala Cruz, the 9, to get in for the second person on the tackle to really get people down, which is kind of funny.
And here's the run.
A bit of a breakaway. This is a big boy coming down. Martin
Schoberly will take him down finally at last by the seat of his trousers. Here's the pass out to get it out to a wing. Marcelo Fed with the tackle. Now St. Ignatius is knocking on the doorstep. La Salette tries zone. Big man bowling it in on the 5-meter line. And here's the forward crash. Sebastian Cook and Henry Betts will get the trip-up tackle. McQuillan steals it because the ball was outside the ruck. McQuillan with an amazing steal. Andrew Sick, he'll get taken down. St. Ignatius tried to go for the poach, but not quite. They get to Gaystack. Here's the kick. Nice and high. Bounces at the 40. Taken in by the number 10 for St. Ignatius. Henry Dittman will pull him down at the 35. Here's French for Ignatius. He takes it in. Tipped forward by Cook. And Titan Esparza, and there's an advantage for the knock-on. Here's French. Long pass out to the 6. He's down the sideline. Henry Betts will tackle him down right at the 22-meter line. Here's French. Quick ball from St. Ignatius. McQuillan will tackle him down. Ignatius gaining a couple meters there. Here's French again. Back out to the forward crash. Made the gain line. And Ignatius is doing a really good job going back and forth. But they are running into some problems with La Salette defense. And here's the pass out to the 4 to get to the 12. He bounces off him. He's still going down the field. Offload to the 3. He leaps over a man. Now they're back on the 5. Now they're out to the wing. There's nobody down there from La Salette. They'll run it in and put it down for the try. St. Ignatius will score the first one today. A nice throw out to the wing there for St. Ignatius. La Salette just can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, it's looking like St. Ignatius is doing a pretty good job of, like all the best rugby teams, they're integrating their forward pack and their back line. They did a good job there, just like the 2 or 3 phases right before their try. They had 3 or 4 really good forward crashes, really smashing in, pulling in defenders. They're forcing La Salette to commit 2 or 3 defenders to each tackle just because of their size disadvantage. And then, passing it out the back line, getting it to the 10 and then out to the wing for the try. That's some really great rugby right there. That is textbook excellent rugby.
Yeah, well, La Salette did get scored on first in Jesuit Sacramento, then La Salette came back and won the game. So, I mean, first try is very important, but
depending on the team, that the first try is always important. But sometimes.
Oh my goodness!
Long kick. That was
oh
a
my
good conversion.
goodness! He made that.
Yeah, sometimes getting scored on is what it takes to really fire a team up and come back and really hit hard and then take home that trophy. And then other times it kind of puts you into a slog. So we'll see what La Salette can pull out after that first initial try.
Yeah, that's in the La Salette. All of La Salette came to support the Lions here at the national tournament. Flushing Briar went out there all camping at the Indiana Dunes. And so here's La Salette rugby again. Gabe Staffke breaks a couple tackles, weaving around, gets tackled out. Well, sorry, tackled right in front of the 50. McQuillan makes the gain line. Good, strong defense from St. Ignatius. Martin Schoberly to Lewis Dittman. Kind of flat-footed, Titan Esparza. La Salette will lose some meters as they're being held up, trying to form the maul. Ignatius pushing and collapsed. And Ignatius will get the scrum. Scrum to St. Ignatius.
Yeah, a lot of times La Salette plays in Illinois. There are some teams there that even though we aren't the biggest team, we can still use our forwards to great effect and kind of muscle our way through. I don't think that's really going to happen today against St. Ignatius. They have some really big guys.
And they have a really good scrum. Oh, La Salette pushing St. Ignatius back. La Salette's always been told to have a good scrum. A nice hard hit from the 12 from St. Ignatius, but Lewis Dittman, Superman, also known as Superman, he'll take him down. Here's French. He ducks under tackle, breaks another one. And Lewis Dittman again. And now they get it out to a forward. He runs it to Tobias McQuillan, not the person you want to run into when you have the ball. Here's the 7. They get out to the winger. He runs into some traffic before he can take it down by Sebastian Cook. Get back to the number 3 on a 35-meter line. Nice tackle from Henry Betts, and he's twice his size.
That was a bad pass there, but Ignatius recovers it before Marcel Lefevre gets in on his case.
Like a duck on a June bug.
Some aggressive counter-rucking from La Salette, but Ignatius will keep it, give it to the 14 who runs down the side. Almost forced out, but not quite. Titan Esparza.
We'll get the tackle. Now they're knocking on the door of the 22 now. Here's the 1, but Cook, a nice low tackle. Yeah, getting low is the biggest thing here when you're playing at teams like this good. You have to get really low. Make sure to wrap them up. You don't want to go ahead. Sebastian Cook, beautiful form tackle yet again. But slowly, Ignatius will be getting meters. As right now they're knocking on the door to 22. Long pass. It bounces. Picked up by the winger. Good play. Brilliant play there from St. Ignatius. La Salette will get the tackle down. Push St. Ignatius back just a little bit. Martin Schoberly will get a tackle. Ignatius makes the gain line. Here's number 7. Lewis Dittman with the tackle. Well, that was Henry Dittman. My bad. Andrew Sick makes the tackle this time. Now they're back where they started, knocking on the door to 22. Then they get out to the backs. They get to the lock. made the gain line. Here's French. He gets it to the hooker, to the 6. And circles a forward pass. La Salette scrum. Right in front of their own 22. And La Salette's got to get the ball out. As Coach Fitzpatrick says, you got to play in the other team's half. Even if the other team has the ball, you just got to get it in there. Because you don't want, whenever you're in your own half, with the ball or without it, you're in danger of getting a penalty, getting back 10. That things can happen if you're stuck in your own half.
Yeah, La Salette is very good at capitalizing off of scrums. They usually have very solid scrums. They're good at whipping it out the back line, and then Gabe Staffke is pretty good at kicking it down for a good placement later. Even if they do have to go on the defensive, it's a better position than they were.
Crouch, bind, and set. And Salo Cruz will put it in. Nice, low, strong scrum from both teams. Gabe Staffke to Lewis. It looks like they're going to run it. Here's Lewis. He's still going. People bouncing off him like it's 1966. And here's Tobias McCool with a slow ruck over. But he'll get there nice and low. Henry Dittman to Connor. Connor kind of weaseling his way around. Loses the ball forward. Knock-on advantage to St. Ignatius. Now they get it out to the 12. He's still moving around. And now Ignatius has the ball at the 22. But La Salette get the penalty. Diving into the ruck. Stroke of luck there. And looks like Connor's going to go for the kick to touch. He's going to get some distance on that. But it doesn't find it. And now St. Ignatius got some offense going. Long pass caught by the 6. Marcel Fev pulls him down with a tackle. McQuillan going in for the poach. Kind of in for this side. A nice hard hit from Ignatius. And now they get it to the 10. He'll boot it on down. Brilliant kick. And it bounces directly to the left in the touch. Good kick there from St. Ignatius. Now they got some good field position. La Salette will get the line out, though. He got tight in the spars of throwing. And the kick was not quite a 50-22. Didn't bounce into 22. Out at the 22, so it's close, but no cigar. But it will be La Salette line out around the 25-meter line in La Salette territory.
Good, strong line-out throw by Titan Esparza, and Salo gets it, and it looks like they're going to pass it down their back line again.
Henry Dittman to Marcelo Fev. To Gerard. He runs into a team tackle at around the 25-meter line. Here's Andrew Sick. He gains a meter or so. Solid Cruz will pull it out, gets it to Gabriel Staffke. Switch pass to Lewis, who gets absolutely hammered. La Salette loses 5 meters. Connor Hanlon. Here's the pass to Martin Schoberly. Offload to Seamus, but Seamus can't quite get his fingers on it. And a so-called knock-on scrum to St. Ignatius at the 35. Oh, sorry, more like at the 30. In La Salette territory. So this is going to, big territory gain here for St. Ignatius. Now, La Salette's been doing a pretty good job of keeping Ignatius outside the 22, except for that one time when they had a really good backs play and some good kicking. But ever since then, they haven't really made past the 22. La Salette's defense has been pretty good. Here's the pick from French. And he'll get in the 22. Makes it about 10 meters in. Penalty. Sweeping into the ruck. Here's Ignatius running in. La Salette's got to play some defense. Ignatius on the 5-meter line. They're running in. Now they're right on the try zone, and they have advantage. Ignatius cutting the ground. Now they're right there. They place the ball. Runs it in again. No good. Places the ball. Runs it in again. Ever closer. Moving slowly to the left. And they get the try. Ignatius will put it down for number 2. Pulling the score up 12-0. And if they make this kick, that'd be 14-0. And it's in a pretty good kicking position. La Salette not quite able to handle the onslaught. And La Salette's doing what they can.
Yeah, their defense is good, but La Salette, you know, traditionally their goal line defense is pretty good. They're good at holding up the ball, but Ignatius is, once again, they're just using their bigger guys and smashing in, and eventually you're going to find that gap that you can take, even if it's just a little small one, and then you place the ball down. That's all it takes.
Just a little gap. Now, La Salette is really good at holding up tries. They did it twice in the Jesuit Sacramento game. So La Salette's got to be doing some, they got to be thinking hard. They have quick minds and quick hands. They want to be in this game. Now, La Salette's not usually a first half team. Usually they'll be like a closer game in the first half, and everyone's like, oh no, what's gonna happen? But in the second half is usually when La Salette pops off. For example, in the St. Martin's game, La Salette was down 8-0 at halftime, and the next thing you know, they're beating St. Martin's 48-13.
Yeah,
So
La
you never
Salette's
know.
superpower is definitely conditioning.
But then when you're playing at this level, you got teams that are this good. Here's the offload. Titus Sparza gets this, a nice tackle. St. Ignatius will go back to the penalty of obstruction. And it'll be a circle call timeout. Have a discussion with Salo Cruz, the captain of La Salette. Having a quick discussion with the teammates. And it'll be Ignatius penalty at the 30-meter line in Ignatius territory. It looks like they're going to go for the kick to touch. And in touch it goes. Beautiful kick, putting it right at the La Salette 35. That'll be an Ignatius line out. Close, close, close. Here's a throw, nice throw from Ignatius, and they'll take it out. Here's French. He'll throw it out to the fly half, and they get it out. Bounce pass, but it's picked up. Good hands by the winger. La Salette push in, and it'll be at the 40-meter line in La Salette territory is where Ignatius will set up camp. French back out to the back line, and Ignatius, Titus Sparza trying to get a hit. They're past the 40. The number 2 drops it. Knock on, and it'll be a La Salette scrum at the 35. Now La Salette's got to turn a little something on. They got to turn on a little mean if they really want to get something cooking. They got to get some fancy cooking. Now, you can't really have a scrum without your hooker, and Gerard will have to migrate from one side of the field to the other to get into his position. Now, Gerard's been doing a pretty... I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to wait for the scrum to be over. Okay, yeah, Gerard does a pretty good job at hooker, winning scrums and all that stuff. I just didn't want to jinx myself. But here's La Salette, Lewis Dittman. He's plowing through. Here's the offload to Marcelo. He hangs onto it, breaks the 50. And Tobias McQuillan, hammered at the 50. Barely made the gain line. Martin Schoberly will find a gap and will get pulled down at the 35, gain some little extra meters there. Ignatius looking for the post, but they don't get it. Here's the pop to McQuillan. Hangs on to the ball, bounces right by his ear, and here he's on the 25. Here's Lewis Dittman to Henry, to Connor, to Marcel, back to Connor, who do a spin move and then gets swung around like a sack of taters. McQuillan again. He wants some revenge for that one before. And they'll gain a bit. Salette Cruz to Lewis. Now they're running into this Ignatius defense. Ignatius is doing really good with their active tackles, not allowing La Salette to gain meters. Connor Hanlon gets tackled. La Salette slowly losing meters. Salette Cruz passes to Andrew Sick. He gets tackled down. Titus Sparza with the clear. Schoberly with the seal. Salette Cruz, pop pass and no good. But they'll go to a penalty. Offsides. La Salette will get the penalty right in front of the 40-meter line in Ignatius territory.
Yeah, I think what's keeping the La Salette Lions in this is, you know, Ignatius is big, but their defense isn't as disciplined, I think, as La Salette's. So, you know, a lot of times La Salette kind of runs it in a little bit shifty. Maybe La Salette's very good at taking defenders and then passing, offloading right at the right time, and just getting those few critical meters. Anyways, there'll be a line out to La Salette. Titus Sparza throwing.
Connor made the kick the touch. Here's a throw from Titan. It's stolen by Ignatius at the 30-meter line in Ignatius territory. Here's a pass out. Nice tackle from Sebastian Cook. Ignatius makes the gain line. Team tackle now. This is La Salette defense right here. And now they're going to give it to the 10 for the kick. It's nice and high. Connor Hanlon searching it up. Catches it at the 40. He's at the 50. Into Ignatius territory. Makes Ignatius 40 before he finally goes down. A 20-meter run from Connor Hanlon.
Looks like Ignatius is trying to hold him up.
But they're still moving forward. Well, make that a 20.
He is forced down, but it looks like there's a couple Ignatius guys just laying on the ground.
A 22-meter run. But it looks like there'll be a knock-on. And it'll be Ignatius scrum. Ignatius scrum at the 40-meter line in their territory. Now, La Salette's haven't been having a bit of trouble on offense. Not really been able to exploit many things that they usually get to exploit. Usually La Salette's bread and butter is hitting gaps and getting those breakaways like 40-meter breaks, 50-meter breaks. They're really good at that. That's their bread and butter. But it looks like, La Salette will get a free kick from an early push. Salette Cruz, quick tap to McQuillan. Offload to Seamus Hanlon. He'll get taken down at the 30-meter line in Ignatius territory. Andrew Sick makes the gain line. Gabe Stafke to Schoberly. He'll cut inside. Now La Salette's making the gain line now. Here's the counter run from Ignatius. They'll steal it at the 32. Here's French. Here's the box kick. Oh, sent that. And it's still bouncing. Gabe Stafke sheds a tackle. He's at La Salette's 22. He gets taken down there. A huge territory deficit for La Salette, but a huge gain for Ignatius. McQuillan. He'll offload to nobody, but thankfully Schoberly was there. And he gets it to Henry Dittman. Here's Henry offloading to Marcelo Fev. Pretty good at wing. He cuts his side. He's dodging around for finally going down. Nice strong rucking over Connor Hanlon. Martin Shirley fakes the pass forward. Andrew Sick will get the offload and will take him down. La Salette around the 35. Gabe Stafke, here's the kick. High and mighty. Received by the 15. Marcel Fev will get the tackle. And down, the Ignatius player will go at the 45. 46 more like, actually. And it's Ignatius ball. And they break the 50. Now in La Salette territory. Here's French to the 14. No tackle, no good. He's down the field, and that's a big boy. Connor Hanlon can't pull his shirt down, and he's going. Number 14 from St. Ignatius. And he places it for a whopping try. communication errors there from La Salette, allowing St. Ignatius to get that offload on the wing and a nice try right down the center, making it easy for the kicker.
Yeah, once again, St. Ignatius taking advantage of big forwards and really fast backs that are also kind of big. So La Salette's going to have their work cut out for them trying to catch up to this 3-try deficit.
And a decently easy kick here for the 15. The wind died down a tad bit. I can tell because my nose stopped running for a second.
The kick is no good.
No good. Shed it off the side.
Score is now 19-0. St. Ignatius up. Looks like he took a little bit of a chickening out, not really going for the ball, but anyways, St. Ignatius recovers the ball off the bounce, and Tobias McQuillan and another Marcel Lefevre going in for the counter ruck.
Nice slow tackle. Now Ignatius is stuck at their 22, but just as I said, they kick it right on out. Connor Hanlon will receive it right behind the 50, and he's back in Ignatius territory. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 22. He's at the 5.
Revenge.
He's at the 10. He's Connor Hanlon at the try zone. Connor Hanlon with the try for La Salette right out the bat.
And the La Salette student body, known as the Crazies, finally starts getting loud, a little bit excited. You know, I think that's revenge for Connor. He was the fullback, and he is kind of the one that let the last try for Ignatius get through. You could definitely see that he was upset about it, you know, punching the ground, but definitely some revenge for him.
Yeah, Connor Hanlon has definitely taken the cake for man of the match yesterday, and today he's working his magic. He definitely has the most points in the team. Phenomenal kicker. Probably one of the best decision makers we have on the team. He really stepped up. First half of the season, he wasn't looking too hot, but now he's looking pretty good. Really showing up for Midwest, of course, winning that championship, and then Nationals. Now Connor Hanlon is the kick. Just a bit off, no good. But La Salette will get points on the board. I still can't believe that Connor made it all the way. That was a beautiful run, 50-meter try.
I think Connor's one of those guys that kind of has to get scored on before he can really, you know, crank up the heat and really just kind of smash through. So we'll see how Ignatius responds to, you know, being scored on themselves.
Drop kick. Here's the ball bouncing a bit. Gabe Staffke will knock it on. And it'll be a scrum for St. Ignatius at La Salette's 22. The student body now restored with rigor. With new rigor.
Probably
Cheering
new vigor, too.
New vigor. Rigor? Vigor. It's rigor, right?
Rigor mortis. That's like getting stiff. Vigor is full of life.
Oh. I something that ended with a gur, but whatever. Igor. But La Salette will get again the free kick. McQuillan. Quick tap. And he gets taken down at the 30. In La Salette territory, here's Salo to Gabe. High kick. Whoop. A bit backwards and fumbled around. And Henry Dittman will come out with it. And still on the 30. Nice clearing of a ruck. Gabe Staffke to show relief. Connor. And Connor's going, but he gets taken down. Now also lost a couple meters. Looking to gain some. We saw Cruz box kick. Breaks the 50, received by the 15. Out to the 10. He'll send it right on back. And it'll roll into the try zone, so La Salette. Oh, Henry Dittman decides to pick it up. Oh, he's got someone on him. Now, I never thought there'd be anyone who's faster than Henry, but I guess I just found somebody. In any case, here's a Nice tackle from Ignatius, but Lhasa will get the ball inside their 22. Dangerous territory. Gabriel Staffke will clear the ball. Nice long kick. Farther than the 15 expected it. And he'll fake the pass. Lewis Tittman takes him down like a tiger and a gazelle. So, Tobias Fiquilin will do the same for French. Here's the 7 playing. Henry Betts will take another guy down. Now they're trying to break the 40. St. Ignatius is having a hard time. Hostile pass out to the 14. Sebastian Cook will trip him up. Here's French. He gets it out. Team tackle. But now St. Ignatius on the 22, slowly gaining meters. Waiting for their chance to get the break. Seamus Hanlon will deal a nice hit. Penalty award to La Salette. That's what they've been waiting for in all this patience. Here's Connor Hanlon with a quick tap. He'll run it in. He's at the 40. Now he's at the 50. And now he's at the, taken down at the 45 in La Salette in Ignatius territory. Switch pass to Seamus Hanlon. Ruck over by Titan Esparza, nice and low. Salo gets the Fiji to Cook, and he'll gain 10 meters.
La Salette's just a little bit slow on their support for the rucks. Ignatius is getting pretty close to stealing, but luckily La Salette gets it out to, looks like Henry Dittman for several meters.
And St. Ignatius will get the poach. That was pretty clutch right there. La Salette was in their territory, but Ignatius will.
Ignatius definitely forced that not releasing penalty. It's a good strategy if you can trap the ball against your the offensive player with the ball's chest. It can definitely make it look a lot like not releasing, which is definitely a smart thing to do if you need a penalty. And they'll kick it into touch. Gerardo almost stops it, but it bounces off his chest and backwards.
He's just a bit too short. But that's okay. Gerard always wanted to play wing, and he is our La Salette's best hooker. And, well, he got out to the wing this time. But this will be the first half. Malachi, can I get the score?
That with Ignatius's, let's see, 19 points with the first 2 tries and 1 conversion, and then La Salette with their 1 try. So it's 19-5.
Yeah.
Kind of a crazy first half. Ignatius definitely trying to smash it in at the very beginning, using their forwards a lot, and then that great integration of forward and back play that they used for their first 2 tries. La Salette kind of lagging behind a little bit. They took a while probably to get going, and then I really think that those first 2 tries against La Salette definitely going to help. You could see it in Connor Hanlon, the fullback. It definitely took that to really get that fire going, and then kind of get a little bit angry before he could really start hitting it hard. It'll definitely be an interesting second half to see where both teams go. Definitely after the score.
Definitely agree. Until the second half, I'm Elijah Hall.
I'm Malcolm Martin, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. definitely raring to go. They've tasted blood and they want more. And you know, Ignatius too. They're not gonna just roll over. Definitely not. They are the favored ones in this matchup, and they're definitely gonna act like it. And I don't think they're gonna lose much of their discipline, and neither will La Salette. So it'll definitely be exciting second half.
Two really good teams going at it. That's what we like to see. So it makes games more interesting. And here's the kickoff. Connor Hanlon with the boot. Getting ready to get the tackle. A nice run in. La Salette will try to get the counter ruck, and they get it. La Salette will steal it. Salette Cruz will pull it out. Here's Andrew Sick. Salette Cruz pulls it out of the ruck. Gets it to Tobias McQuillan. Seamus Hanlon, bit of a high tackle there. La Salette will get the penalty advantage. Martin Strobely breaks the 22 in St. Ignatius territory. Here's Salette Cruz. Switch pass to Lewis. Switch pass to McQuillan. Slowly marching down the field. Martin Stroley to Gabe Staffke. He gets it to Henry Dittman. Connor Hanlon. They're not letting him get through again. Good team tackle. Salette Cruz to McQuillan. He drops it forward. But it'll go back to the advantage.
Yeah, La Salette definitely likes to play fast. It's definitely going to take some speed if they want to compete with Ignatius. And, you know, sometimes it happens, it produces a mishap like that. But, you know, always got to go back. And this time we had an advantage to fall back on.
Salette Cruz. Long pass out to Lewis Dittman. His brother Henry. He'll get it, but it'll go knock on. At the 30-meter line, Ignatius scrum in their own territory. And St. Ignatius scrum. Now at the forward pack of La Salette, we got number 1, Seamus Hamlin, number 2, Gerard Nienaber, number 3, Titan Esparza, 4, Martin Sherbley, 5, Andrew Sick, 6, Henry Betts, 7, Sebastian Cook, and 8, Tobias McQuillan. That'll be the forward pod there. And our scrums. Sebastian Cook will get the tackle.
Number 11 on St. Ignatius is looking pretty shifty. Kind of cut through that pretty easily. Took a couple guys to bring him down. Tobias McQuillan, though, is not going to give up easily. He's a big man, and he's definitely going to hit like one.
Here's the long pass out. St. Ignatius turning on some speed now. The one characteristic of St. Ignatius is that they're all fast. Morris takes it down. Here's French. And they get it to Spessily. He gains quite a few meters. But in the touch he goes. La Salette line out. Well, she goes to chance to tell the forward and the forward pack for Ignatius. At number 1, we got Andrew Morris. Number 2, Mason Hartley. Number 3, Grayson Hakadakis. Number 4, Jacob Papish. Number 5, Connor Bender. Number 6, Charlie Banizek. And number 7, Marcelo Woodbury. And number 8, unknown. So we'll just call him the man without a name. Now, guys, here's the nice run with St. Ignatius down. They break the 50. Here's the hard hit from Grayson. Here's the pass out. Long and deep. They get out to the backs. Here's Gabrevich. Sorry. Sorry. Never mind. Here's the 11. Nice tackle from Tobias McQuillan. And La Salette will get it. Grabovzek could not quite hang on to it.
Yeah, La Salette's good at forcing the not releasing penalty.